Hello and welcome to Thursday. It is officially above the cushion night here at Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway. I got the bosses in the office here today. It was a per request.
Is that my cue?
You're not ready to talk just yet.
Oh.
That was bosses are on the show. Tyler
Good
Davis
evening, everybody.
with Little 81 Speedway Kart Park going to join us as well. He's got a few news and notes from the goat kart in the future of 81 Speedway at the big track Humboldt Speedway to go over. First and foremost, we need to thank our sponsors here on the Above the Cushion TM Fencing LLC, Tane Murphy and the crew. He got your fence done over the Glassman, didn't he?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been about a year ago, but somebody drove a stolen vehicle through our gate over at Autotech, and we kind of patched it back together, and it was just time. So, of course, we called TM Fencing. Tane came out with the crew and did a bang-up job, man. Looks awesome.
Looks good.
It actually looks like it belongs there. You know what I mean?
Everything I've ever seen them do looks great.
Yeah, it does a great job. Did it quick as could be, too. Like, I literally didn't know it was going to be done. I came back from a short vacation. And I was like, geez, the gate's done.
Yeah,
looks
nice.
great, works out well. So, yeah, anybody that needs, fencing and that stuff, definitely give Tane a call.
And they do, custom stuff. If you got something dreamed up in your head, he can do some custom stuff, does some wrought iron, as well as the wood. They can get you taken care of course. 218-3450, 316 the area code, 316-218-3450, the number. Call Tane and the crew. Also, we need to thank Ulick Music for supporting us here on Above the Cushion as well. We got a packed weekend of some big stuff going on at both tracks. But first, let's get to the bosses.
Well, I just wanted to, thanks for letting us come on, Andy. You do a really good job. You do this show wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
You do this deal, and if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this. So seriously, we do thank you. It puts a lot of time and effort into it, and
Appreciate that.
it doesn't go unnoticed. I know John and I talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a very awesome way for us and you and everybody to get information. And that's what it's about. And John and I always want to be open about that. If you got a question or idea, you just hit us up, man. You either got our phone number, call the Speedway here, call the Speedway there. We each answer those.
That's the thing is both speedways go to our phones. If you call Humboldt Speedway, you get me. If you call 81 Speedway, you get JR. Plus, I've put my cell phone number out there for anybody. It's on the website, and just if you got a question on something, give me a holler.
Yep.
Yeah, so this weekend, we're going to jump into some of the fun stuff that's going to be going on at both Humboldt Speedway with the Midwest Mod 1000 to Win show. That's going to be really cool and fun. Looking forward to that, as well as over here at 81 Speedway, we've got the Hall of Fame induction.
Always a great night.
It's a fun night. It's an odd week for us. We're going to talk about the rain and what the rain does for us, but the phone calls, a lot have been based around the Hall of Fame inductees, and if we're going to have the race, because a lot of people are coming from out of town. And so we'll get into that. But first, we just need to kind of mention who's in the Hall of Fame this year.
Absolutely.
If you want to go, I've got them written down, or you've got them written down. But of course, we're just ecstatic. It's a long process too. This isn't. They don't do this overnight. Somebody just don't call the Speedway and say you put this guy in the Hall of Fame. It's
several meetings. It's a group. It's
There's
a whole.
applications to fill out, that ask for the pertinent information that we're looking for.
Yeah, and then the committee members, Carl Crossett being the chairperson, of course, I'll get them all wrong, but Sherman Cummins, Brian Franz, Kelly Shipman, Randy Wilson. Those are a few of the board members there. And so what we decided was, hey, we want a group of guys that know a lot about the racing at 81 Speedway. And I want to emphasize that. It's the 81 Speedway Hall of Fame.
Right.
There are a lot of people that probably deserve to be in some type of Hall of Fame at other racetracks, and maybe they don't have them. But if you got a cousin or uncle that won every state championship in Oklahoma, that's great. I'm sure that there's some place for him, but it's just not 81 Speedway Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's got to be something that's right here at this racetrack, and that's kind of one of the key elements when you put somebody in or nominate. So,
Right.
And I think those guys, they argue, they throw a lot out, and then they really go into why this person should or shouldn't be in, and then it comes down to a private vote, a sealed vote. They don't know who voted what, and John's the tiebreaker, I think. Are you still the tiebreaker?
I'm in the.
Oh, he's a voter.
What do you call that? The qualm or
The quorum?
quorum?
Yeah.
Whatever? Yeah, I'm a
Yep.
voter.
Yeah, he's a voter. He goddamn voter.
It's big words over here.
Yeah, well, big for you.
Big for me.
So this year's class, if you want to go over those names real quick, because we can get some people out that want to see them get in.
Yeah, absolutely. First one on the list is Fred Corneliuson. Would be Mike Corneliuson's brother We've had Mike here on the show.
Yep.
Also,
Gary.
would be Gary's
Uncle?
I think. Yeah, uncle.
Yep.
So looking forward to that one. Next one on the list, Jimmy Decker.
Fast Jimmy Decker.
Fast Jimmy Decker. John Arntz.
John Arntz, yeah. That's a little bit older. It goes back a little ways.
I
I
was
know-
really surprised he wasn't already in.
I know the name, but I can't. Yeah, it was way
The
before.
Lake Mall Sportsman, Lake Mall Days.
Yeah, that was a little bit before me, but yeah, I do know the name.
I actually remember seeing a picture of the car, and I
Okay.
remember that because I seen on one of the websites a picture and said John Arntz, and it had a picture of his car, and yeah, so that was really cool.
Okay, and then fourth one in, last certainly not least.
Yeah, I think there's no particular order on the list.
No. Dave Davis. Going to join us in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
there.
of course, a guy I think built a lot of engines and helped a lot of teams over the years.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, Dave was the engine builder on several championship teams
Yeah, I saw him.
at 81 Speedway.
Saw him last Saturday. So yeah, still making out to the races every week. I think.
yeah, I think still tinkers a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I think for sure at least he's done a few things here and there. I know.
Yeah, I'd like to. I need to get after this weekend. I need to get Carl on, and he's the head of the head of the Hall of Fame, and just talk about the how do you get the application? What do you go through? Some of the criteria, and he's the one kind of been because you guys have went through a few in the group or the voting.
Yeah.
You had a kind of a set of them. And then you moved on to a different set. And
We
then
did.
Well,
Yeah.
John, it was John's idea. John actually came to us and said, "Hey, we got to keep it fresh too. We can't stay with the same guys because then, hey, that's all the generation they knew."
Right.
So he got a guy like Kelly Shipman. Kelly Shipman's a lot newer generation board member than a guy that was, Bill Johnson was on the board before.
Right.
Bill did a great job.
Bill's
He
great.
just, a different era.
Different era. We got to be able to make sure we're looking across all of them.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James or Kobe.
Right.
At one point, they're the greatest for somebody
Right.
in their era.
In their
But-
time.
So I think it's just keeping it fresh and keeping
Yep.
it exciting and to keep the criteria, to make sure that it's not easy to get in.
Right. Oh no. It's very very tough. But yeah, that's why I want to get a hold. I'll get in touch with Carl on Saturday night and get him lined up and because the new round for 26 is going to come up, so we want to get some applicants in and
I don't know. Don't ask me. I literally don't know. I used to come to the first on meetings and stuff, but then I'm not a voter. I don't deserve to be a voter. Let me be clear on that. I mean, I've been coming here since I was born,
Right.
But I don't know that I had the racing prowess at that point in my life early on to make any
That would be
judgment.
a Carl question. I'm not sure when it opens up. I think you can submit anytime for.
Yeah, I believe we'll take an application right now for next year.
Yeah.
And then I believe the application's right there on our website, 81speedway.com. Easy way. And if you don't fill that one out, you're not going to get in. You can't send us a piece of paper or a letter
Right.
or a picture or a photo book.
Right.
Those things just don't do it.
No,
We-
yeah,
we-
absolutely. Yeah, we need to get. I need to get Carl on. I haven't. I've talked to him all the time when he's here at the track, but I haven't had him on the show, and we want to just clear some stuff up.
Carl, a lot of people probably don't know this, but Carl is one of the most silent supporters there is at 81 Speedway.
Absolutely.
Does a lot of stuff behind the scenes for us. Always is trying to help us get advertising, geo-fencing and different things with ads and helps us on Google. And he just does a lot of stuff that most people probably would never recognize because he actually rarely comes. I mean, he'll sneak into a race, pays his way, and goes and watches a race, and we don't ever know he was here until he tells us a week later.
Actually, part of
He's really good at his job, though. That he does with the
Channel
TV
3.
Channel 3s and stuff. I mean, he's taught us so much about different things that we need to know in business to get our name out there. That's really been helpful.
yeah. Also, part of organization that's close to Skyland's heart with the Valley Center Animal Rescue too. He's part of that.
Yeah, his wife and him both are a big part of that. I think we're planning on having them back out at the Speedway again this year to help that. And so, yeah, that's a big deal for us as well. My family, we take in all stray animals, it seems, at my place. So
Yep.
living out in the country, you get a bunch of different things and you just end up taking care of them. So
Yep. You got your phone out. You got a list.
Fred is Gary's grandpa. I'm being corrected.
Oh,
So
sorry. Very
so-
sorry.
Yes. So let's see here. Fred's his grandpa, and they built the 49 late model Sportsman and hired John Arntz, and that's awesome. His grandpa
Okay.
got in.
I
Okay.
think
Just
Floyd
awesome.
Myers, who's already in the Hall of Fame, was part of that group.
It
on
was,
that.
yeah. Yeah, so
So I mean that's a good bunch, and John Arntz won a lot of races out here. He was a fan favorite.
yeah.
Yep.
So we'll dive in now. That if we piqued your interest, come out and see these guys. They want you to see them. It's important that we come and support those that are in the hall, and it's again, if you knew when we bought the Speedway, the Tie Rod Tavern, the way it is the way it is. And we've talked about it long and hard. And when we bought the Speedway, one of the things we wanted was not that touch. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. And we've added to it a little bit here and there, but we've left the integrity of what they built.
Right. What you got? What's next?
Well, it's on the positive stuff first. Let's go with that. I like to be positive, don't you, John?
Absolutely.
Good looking shirt, by the way. When's your PGA card come in? I forgot.
Well, I'm going to talk about that. I played in a golf tournament today, the Don Poorman Golf Tournament. That's for Brian Leopold at Poorman's Auto Supply. Poorman's big BMOT sponsor out here for the division. Asked us to get down there and play in that tournament. I used to play in it through one of my other businesses and kind of fell away from it for a little bit. And through Chris Kratzer, Wichita Tire and Alignment, him, myself, Tyler, and Larry Greider all played in a golf tournament together down the same team down at Hidden Lakes. And the lakes weren't hidden today.
No, no.
Let me be honest.
They were out.
Larry Greider found every damn one of them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
He's kind of a lake rat.
He's a lake rat now. He ain't much of a golfer anymore. Now, Larry, don't kill me. I beat up on Larry all day today, so he's probably watching this and he's going to text me pretty soon. But no, I want to thank those guys, and I want to thank Poorman's, and I want to thank every sponsor. I don't have enough time, but you do a wonderful job in the tower. When I get to hear you, believe it or not, from the tower and from where John's standpoint, we don't get to hear the announcer.
Not that much.
I only try to turn it on for the driver interviews if we get a free moment between races, and you do a good job though when I am listening, and it's just important that John and I always say this. We don't want you to come give us money to sponsor a sign. That is not what I want. What I want is you to become a partner where I push your product because I believe in it. Just like tonight. After this, I'm going to probably head over to the Hive. So, Chaz Klinkner and those guys came on board. We put a whole different sign up that's just cool as hell in my
Knocked it
opinion.
out of the park.
Yeah, it's just so cool to see one like that, and it's just really neat. And but when you become a sponsor here, it's not just about you giving us $500 or something.
Right.
That's not what we want.
We want you to come out and be a part of it.
Yeah, we want you to be a part of it, and we want to push your business. We want people to go to you because of you supporting racers, and racers need to support you.
Well, I always say they're not sponsors here at the racetrack. They're partners. They're
Yeah.
partners with us here. They support
Absolutely.
racing. We support them, and we're going to get their product out.
One of the coolest little sponsor things that you can do that doesn't cost a whole lot of money, but it's really neat, and I think more and more people are starting to take advantage of it. But at Tie Rod Tavern, we did the tables. We put booths in there if you haven't been in there in a while, and it actually blows my mind, John. Last week it was my daughter's birthday, and we had a little birthday get together up at Tie Rod after the races, and it was getting late anyway. But I bet we had 6 people tell me that they had not stepped foot in Tie Rod Tavern.
Which I tell them every week.
And to be fair, we're not on live radio, so I can curse a little bit here, but it pisses me off, to be
Sure
honest
show.
with you. Because part of the camaraderie and the things that John and I want to build out here, and we keep emphasizing every week that I walk the pits, is, guys, you can really not like a guy out on the racetrack just because he's good and you're good and you guys are competitive. That's what we do.
Right.
We're all competitive. But when the checker's flown and the races are over, we're all here for the same damn reason. And if y'all want to stop by Tie Rod Tavern, we're always usually I'm the last one there because I'm still working and John's still working. But there's people up, the safety crews up there. Okay, the ticket takers are up there. The beer people are up there. It's just a good time. It's fun. It's light. There's no arguing. The races are long over. We jab each other a little bit and have a good time. Am I right, John?
That's right.
What are people missing?
Just hanging out and having fun, and it's kind of we don't have a Tie Rod Tavern at Humboldt, but we got the
bar.
we got the Bull Ring Bar, and we've got the breezeway there, and the guys are always welcome to stay and hang out, and you don't have to hide back in your corner. After you get your pay, we pay up at the pit shack now. Just come on over where everybody else is at, behind the grandstands and hang out for a little bit. You can bring your own beer and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to bring that part up on that. Some fresh new content. Andy, you make fun of me, but I'm not a social media guy. I don't have any of it really at all. But the person running the Instagram page is asking if you could get on there and follow Race 81 Speedway, Race 81 Speedway on Instagram. It's kind of some fresh content, new content, some of the same stuff that you do on Facebook, some stuff that you don't. Dropping of the apparel that we're going to get to later.
Good looking stuff.
Yeah, some cool pictures put on there. Some track prep stuff that they do every single week when we're out there, tractors tilling and different things. So kind of just a cool way to pay attention to what's going on out at 81 Speedway. Maybe get some tidbits, some contests, and those things as well.
You always like to point out that I don't show up till later in the day, so
You're a 5 o'clock guy.
I'm not. But the content creator for the Instagram gets here very early. So
Yeah, they don't have much of a choice. I was going to bring up rain.
Been a lot of it this week.
Nobody likes to talk about the R word. John and I don't like to talk about it, but the first thing I'm going to say is we don't know either. On a Wednesday, when we had 7 inches of rain, 5 inches of rain, and you call the Speedway and ask if we're racing on Saturday, we don't know either at that point. What we do know is this. We don't make, and I'm not going to get into all the crazy analytics on it, but neither racetrack makes money.
Nope.
Let's clarify that right out of the gate. Would we at some point want it to make money? Absolutely. You know why? To improve things. We're not trying to make money for me or John or my wife or anything like that. It's not why we bought these. At the end of the day, the more money we make, the better product you're going to get. As a fan, as a racer, as a pit crew, all those things are important to us. So when it rains, it's the worst thing in the world for us.
Absolutely.
Because we can't have a show. We don't have the ability to even try to make anything.
Well, just like, so John and the track crew have been on the track all day long.
They've been out there
trying to get
10
ready.
hours today,
So if
guys.
something happens, that's all for nothing.
Well, yeah, and I'll point out what John does every single week, and any time that I'm asked to, I'm right out there. Last week, I tilled for 7 hours straight on Friday. Didn't eat lunch, didn't take a break, didn't even have a water, okay? Little kid named Eric Kick come out, never been on a tractor before. Just much like your son Carson today, John. I got to give him a pat on the back because he did the same thing today. Eric Kick called me and asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm tilling. And he goes, you got 2 of them? I said, yeah, but do you know how to run it? And he said, no. And I said, perfect, come on out. So we tilled till dark on last Friday. Now, for anybody that comes out on Saturday and thinks, man, that racetrack had some character, or it was rough, had this or that, I could tell you this, it ain't from lack of goddamn trying. We put in more effort. Last week I think we burnt 74 gallons of diesel fuel between Friday morning and Saturday morning trying to get this place in shape. Okay. You think we get paid for that? No. We do it because we love the sport, we love the racing, and we want to give you a good product. We don't want to wait till Saturday morning with all that rain and just try to make something work. Right. It's not how it works.
The cars are too expensive. And we don't want to go out there and have a bad conditions where people are going to tear their cars up or the program's not good.
Yeah, it's a tough gig for all of us, and rain sucks. It's just like tonight. There's a chance of rain this evening. There's a chance of rain tomorrow evening. The question that I can answer you right now as a meteorologist is, I have no idea how much it's going to rain, and neither does anybody else. So for me to predict what Saturday looks like on a Wednesday, a Thursday, or even sometimes a Friday is pretty difficult. What I will tell you is that Saturday morning by 10 o'clock every time, John and I are been here for a few hours by then, and we'll know by then.
Yeah.
Every single week. Because the racetrack, believe it or not, can take quite a bit of water.
It's the pits.
It's the pits and the infield. It's been tough. So it makes it a little harder to decide. I mean, if you go out there and look right now, I haven't looked at the infield necessarily, John. It's probably in piss poor shape still.
Yeah, the infield's still pretty wet. We did pump some water today, but the racetrack's beautiful right now, and it's really hard. I'm expecting more rain tonight, and I wanted to have the racetrack ready so that we wouldn't have to redo it all, Friday or Saturday. The good thing about the pit area is it does drain pretty good, and we can till it and pack it and get it usable. But it's not right now. I mean, it's still too wet that we can do anything to it.
Yeah.
So there's your update about this. As far as this Saturday goes, he didn't put 10 hours in, so he didn't race.
Right.
And we got Humboldt in the same condition. When I left Humboldt this morning, it was hard packed, ready for more rain because they're expecting rain tonight and early tomorrow. The pit area is going to probably be a little soft if we get a race tomorrow night, but the racetrack should be smooth and very racy.
And I'll just give all the track crew, Jake and Mike and Gene and John and everybody that helps. It's literally it's a village of people that make it work. And again, there's sometimes where John's at a monster truck show because we've got one, and so other people step up, and that's what we do. But I thank every single one of them. There's nobody here that goes out and thinks, man, we want to give these guys not a good racetrack.
Right.
But conditions sometimes it make it tough.
Absolutely.
But you ought to know that as a racer. If it's rained 7 inches, you probably ought to expect it might be a little soft.
Everyone, just they got a little character, but that's what happens.
I
when
thought
you
it was
pour
pretty
7
good
inches of
last week.
rain
First
on-
of all, the racetrack at Humboldt was amazing.
Yes, it was.
The passing, the last second pass, the in-car video of Brandon Conkright right there on YouTube. I watched the entire race from his from the decking of his late model, and the racetrack was amazing.
Yeah.
Very good job on that. And,
Yeah, those guys were pretty amazed as wet as the fields were and stuff that the racetrack was that good. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I wanted it to be that good, but I wasn't sure it was gonna be either.
yeah, and it's just like 81 last week. It had a little bit too much character, a little bit rougher than we wanted. So we took 19 minutes, about what we took, and John knocked down turn 1 a little bit.
Jake and
Tom Lindemood, everybody jumps in, and man, I thought it cleaned off pretty good. It took a little longer to clean off in the late model show than I wanted it to, and that's just because we threw those crumbs up all night. Everybody's just throwing up those crumbs, and as those dry, it just gets a little dirty early. But man, it cleaned up good and ended up being a good race. So I think that was badass in my opinion. And then this week we've got the big show over at Humboldt for the Midwest mods, and then we turn over here to the Hall of Fame, and we've got A mods, B mods, stock cars, super stocks, and mini stocks, everything but the 316 mods. No, we didn't take them off because y'all sucked last week. We just took them off because they were already not on the schedule. I'm just saying it. It is what it is. I didn't say
still racing till it rained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still making laps. That's what the story read this week, I believe. Well,
It was definitely a long one, and you know, everybody has bad nights, but I think those guys can do better. And I just wanted to thank On the Go Tire for sponsoring our Midwest Mod Race. If it wasn't for those guys, we wouldn't be able to do that. And I think it's going to be something that we can build off of.
and if you haven't got to see them, the Midwest Mods is a cool class, man. They race pretty hard over there every single week, and the largest number of cars every single week that support Humboldt Speedway. So we do thank those guys and everybody that comes over to Humboldt every single week. But I think it's going to be a fun race. I just seen the big check over at Midwest Rapco this morning early. Didn't make it. I don't think it made its way here, though. I've heard a rumor that it didn't. Take that up.
I'm going to try to get a picture of the big trophy tomorrow and get it out there. I didn't have time today to do it, but we've got a big trophy.
You did something today?
Yeah.
I played golf.
Kind of hung out, you know.
First time I played golf in years, everybody, just to clarify. I don't play golf.
You were at the golf course.
Yeah, that's a good way. We won the third flight, crying out loud. I don't know what that means even. I'm going to address a couple of things that probably make people mad a little bit, but I just want to talk about a couple of things. Last few weeks, got a few emails about a few things over at Humboldt.
Okay.
And there's been some stuff on social media that people clue me in on because I don't have it and don't normally want to hear about it. But I want you to know that it doesn't fall on deaf ears. That's the number one thing I want everybody to know. If you've got a legitimate concern, a legitimate complaint, or an idea, call the Speedway, email. All of our emails are on the websites. You call 81 Speedway, I answer. You call Humboldt Speedway, John answers. But probably got 3 emails in the last couple of weeks that were negative. Not really constructive negative, just negative. But every time I've replied to those emails, they're fake emails. They kick back from the server and say that doesn't exist. So somebody's making a quick account and send an email and then running away from it. The last one had a phone number on it. So I called the phone number and a young lady answered and said it was a business phone and nobody by the name of Jonathan was there.
Okay.
So I just wanted to bring up that we do care. If you think we don't care, John calls every time and says, man, that's not how that's going down. One of the complaints was we don't race A-mods enough. Well, first of all, one of them rained out over there. I can't really help that. We did have the Heartland 2 over, which kind of takes up one of them. But I want to explain the quick economics of an A-mod race at Humboldt Speedway.
We also had another one scheduled, but Heartland was racing somewhere else, so we
Correct.
took
So we
off the
moved it.
schedule.
Right, because most of our guys that race with us weekly are supporting the Heartland Series, so that would just splinter and make the car count less and the fan count too, you know.
And that's not our goal. Our goal is not to not run A-mods. That's not it at all. But even last year, when we'd show up with 8 or 9, it's very hard to, make a show with 8 or 9 cars. It's just a fact. It doesn't matter what class. But the A-mods particularly, it's hard because of the economics involved.
Right.
If you're paying a guy $750 or to win that race, and then on 500, 400, 300, whatever it is, the purse is so high with that low number of cars that you don't have anybody filling that back part of the field with their pit passes to help pay that purse. It really just comes down to economics. And then to throw it in, I know we're having kids night over at Humboldt on Friday, which is always one of the funnest nights. I always walk up and down. People bring candy. It's a great time. First and foremost, if you've got an A-mod and you're not racing somewhere Friday and you want to bring your A-mod, come on over and bring your car. We're going to let you bring it on out. You be a part of kids night.
Bring your T-shirts.
Bring your
down there,
T-shirts, sell them,
everything.
whatever. But on top of that, we can't race them with a Midwest mod show that pays $1,000 to win on a night that you're only going to probably get 5, 6 cars. It just, you can't do it economically. Do I love it? I love the A-mod class. Stock cars are my favorite. Don't text and cry, Bo. But A-mods, I love them. But we can't run them if we're not going to get a field of cars. So we're working on some things. John and I talked yesterday. We've got a pretty big show coming up over there in August. Dirt Crown Series going to be there along with the Freedom 50 by
Yeah, Dirt Crown Stock Cars, Freedom Wilson Automotive and Fabrication, Freedom 50, which that has a lot of added money in it this year compared to what we've done in the past. And we're getting the information out about it earlier. Hopefully we can draw some more cars on that. So
Yeah, so we're looking at putting AMADs with those guys, and we're doing that because we're early enough that we can start looking at the schedule, making sure Heartland's not on, making sure there's nothing around, and then we can also start talking. If you think we don't, I can tell you that John and I each week take a look and see where people are racing, and if we know they're not racing at the Heartland, for instance, we're calling or texting those guys every single week. Hey, come race, come race, come race. If you've got a stock car, come race. And we're going to jump right into that while we're talking about it. This one they're going to love. We didn't cut the goddamn pay at Humboldt Speedway. Okay? So whoever thinks that, it's not the case. What we did is, at the beginning of the year, we said, as an incentive to try to grab some 81 cars or some other cars, come over and race with from further distance. Let's see if we can pay early a little bit more to see if we can get some of these cars to come over. And we kept it as an incentive. It's not gone, but if you get 15 or more cars, we're going to pay it. But we're paying just what we did the year before. We didn't cut any pay.
yeah,
So, again, anybody that thinks that, you're just wrong. That flat wrong. So, it is what it is. A spade's a spade. But we want to pay the maximum that we can pay.
Right.
But at the end of last year, when we started this season, and we fix equipment, and we've got problems with this, we got problems with that, and you spend all the money to bring in all the food and the beer and all the stuff, and we're sitting here saying, well, we've got $0 to start the season, John. It's just not there. So it's not that we don't want to pay you more. It's just not there to pay you. Facts. So while we're talking about it, Whitworth's, people said in a couple of the emails and have made comments that, man, the Whitworths did a better job. You guys are killing the Speedway. Well, to start, you're taking a deep breath, Andy.
Yep.
To start off, John's going to either back me or punch me, but the Whitworth family, Renda, who I love, Ryan, who I adore. I think Ryan's one of the greatest.
Love them all.
They're all amazing people.
They're great.
Okay. I didn't call Ryan Whitworth or Renda, and John didn't call him and say, hey, get out. We want to buy the Speedway. We didn't do that. They came to us. They were done, people. They don't want to do it anymore. Ask them. Okay? So you got a great place to race still. It's a beautiful facility. In a lot of ways, it's nicer than 81 ever has been. We don't have any tech buildings. We don't have any cool-ass party barn. We don't have any nice tower. Our tower's a pile of junk. There's no room. There's no place for announcers.
Pit concession.
We don't have pit concessions here. We don't have bathrooms on the pit side besides porta potties. They got real bathrooms over there. They got showers. So, all the people that say, hey, you only put money into 81 Speedway, well, we don't even have half that stuff, first of all. Second of all, the Whitworths, they were done. Now, that doesn't mean they're bad people. They've done it for how many years?
A long time.
And we love them to death.
64 is what the drawings are that are hanging up in the tunnel.
So, the Whitworths are a huge part of it still. We talk to him. John talks to Ryan. We have no issue with that.
Brenda's been coming out and watching races and stuff.
Yeah, we named the Whitworth Memorial, the race after for the Heartland Series. It's not that we don't want them to be there and be a part and all those things.
I see Ryan on his mule when I'm going to the track and wave every Friday. I mean,
But I just want to point out that everybody that says the Whitworths did it better, maybe they did. Maybe they did. Times are different. They would be the first to tell you that it was declining a little bit as far as car count and those things when they were towards the end. We were hoping to resurrect that. And I don't think that anybody's going to work harder than John Allen to get it there.
Right.
It's a struggle. It's in the middle of nowhere. Nobody wants to hear that. There's nothing out there. Yep. That's why we lean on the small communities. That's why Iola is important. That's why all the small communities, Chanute's important. That's why everything that we do on those community nights matters. And we want those people to come out. Make it a place to be for your family. Economically, I still think it's one of the cheapest things to do. If you come over to the big city, you can't touch a baseball game or a basketball game or a concert or anything for what you spend to get in and watch 3 hours of entertainment.
Right.
So that's my soapbox on that.
Okay.
Big shows. We lost $15,000 over there this year when we had the midgets. You guys want to know the numbers? Lost $15,000 bringing them over to Humboldt Speedway. So anybody want?
We have people call all the time. Why don't you have the sprint cars? Why don't you have the World Outlaws? We can't get enough people there to support those kind of races.
And I know y'all deserve it. There's not you hardcore fans and the ones that are out there want to see that show. You deserve it. I admit that. But for instance, to bring in the high limit or the World Outlaws, it's a $90,000 to $100,000 purse. You just flat can't get enough people to come do it.
It's tough here.
We barely make it work here,
Yeah,
and sometimes we lose.
Yeah, I mean it's easier. It's possible here.
It's possible here, John, because we have 650,000 people within 50 miles.
Right.
Is the reason.
And I look at the zip codes of the people that are buying tickets and stuff, and they're traveling in to see it. We just got to figure out a way to get them to start traveling to Humboldt more.
I mean,
But there's no place to stay in Humboldt is part of the problem too.
Yeah, I will point out, and it's not a business, it's not a sponsor or anything like that, but every time we come over, we always usually stay at an Airbnb. There's a lot of nice ones.
Yeah.
A lot of cool cabins, some really cool ones over in Chanute. It's not that far a drive. Iola and Chanute basically is, Humboldt's right in the middle, so you can't go wrong with an Airbnb from either one of those communities. They're really nice. It's quick, it's easy, it's fun. It's 2 hours, guys. It's 2 hours from here. I beat up all the guys around me every week. Get over there and race. And for instance, I've got some mini stock guys that I've already got talked into coming over for the Freedom 50.
I think the Freedom 50 is going to be big this year.
I do too. So that's my soapbox a little bit about Humboldt. John has a private Facebook page for drivers. If you're a registered driver at Humboldt and or 81 Speedway, he does a lot of information, rules, things, questions, all those things. So anybody that emails and has a rules question, if you're not a registered driver, we're going to try to
request to be in that group.
Yeah.
I've tried to send out requests to people that I know that are not in it, but anybody that is a registered driver with us that they're not in it and they want to be, just request to get in there. As long as you're a registered driver, you're in. Now, your wife or your daughter or your son-in-law, they're not getting in. This is for the racers so that I could communicate with the racers and let them know what's going on.
Makes sense. So I just wanted to point that out because some of the questions that we get, if you were on that page, you probably already have the answer. So we'll talk a little bit about the 316 mods real quick. You're waiting on this one, Andy. John came to me 3 weeks ago and said, nothing to do with the quality of the cars or the drivers. And he said, if we don't get more cars, JR, we're going to have to do something. It's the same thing we talk about with any class. super stocks when they drop off, and I know we got a few more of those coming back with the Blockers and Perky, and those guys are all got cars now, and that's great. So we're going to build back that class. 316 class, the number's not the problem now. But early on, John said, hey, we're just about to make all these guys A-mods. Yeah. Well, the first reason I was against that, and we talk about this, we don't always agree.
No.
At the end of the day, we got to work as a team, and that's what we come up with. And we don't have a resolution on that yet, but I wrote down blend class. Well, it wouldn't be fair to take away Makinich's wins and move him up to A-mods and say, hey, that didn't happen. So what we want is some support. I know a lot of you guys got cars out there. Come out and help us. Race. If you're not in the top 10 in A-mods, come race. Get some laps in. It's fine. Number one. Number two, I don't want to blend the class because I do think that there is a difference between USR A-mods out here and that class. A lot of the guys in that class may not have the same exact car with the $25,000 motors and stuff. I get it.
Also, some of those USRA cars that visit us on our local weekly stuff, they've already ran 30 shows this year.
Absolutely.
They went down to Wild West. They've been all over. They've been traveling around, so they've got a lot of laps.
So are we done with the class? To be honest, it really depends on the rest of the year is what that comes up with, and John and I will go over that later in the year. But I wanted to just talk about that. Number one, what happened last week was probably just a fluke. I'm willing to say that. But I will say that 19 minutes, 36 seconds, one lap completed, we ain't going to let that happen again.
Our fans are too valuable.
I know you may or may not believe this, but if you're up in the tower and every fan's turning around, throwing their arms up at you, looking at you, pointing at you, acting like, it's our fault, which, maybe it is. It was somebody's fault, that's for damn sure. But we don't expect that either, and I know you drivers don't either. I know you all expect and can be better. Only the top 4 cars that finished, the 4 first, second, third, and fourth, weren't involved in a caution. Everybody else in that race was involved in a caution. Mm-hmm. Started with 18, ended with 7 cars across the finish line. I don't have words for everything. I could call out names. I don't know if it'd do any good, but let's just get the race started, guys. If it's going to be a class that's a little lesser than those guys, let's work on getting some laps in and getting better. It's hard to get a lap and get better when you can't make a lap.
Mm-hmm. I got a little advice.
Okay, here we go.
As an old racer, my advice to the guys in the 316 class is just work on getting your car better and getting your racecraft better. Don't worry about winning the race from the back or any of that. You got to finish the races, first of all, to win them. And, when things are going by really fast, you're not looking far enough down the racetrack. So you need to work on your racecraft, and you race with these guys every week. You know that this one guy's tight every week and he's going to push up. Don't drive in on the outside of him, and when he hits you, then be mad that he hit you. I mean, he's learning too. Nobody wrecks on purpose,
We all know these cars are too expensive. Nobody wants to wreck them. But I would say I'd add to that, and I'd also say work on your starts, guys. From our perspective, we're wrecking at the beginning. We're running into the back of people. We got cars spinning out on the starts. Mm-hmm. Put a restrictor plate in your car. I'm going to tell the honest truth. My nephew drives a modified out here. He drives in 316 class. I think he finished 3rd or 4th last week. He was not in a caution. I'm not saying he won't be. He normally is.
He's still learning.
He's still learning. But you know what we did? We put a 90 horse, I think it was. You sold me a restrictor last year. We put a restrictor plate in the car because he couldn't stop from spinning the tires or trying to spin out. Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad thing. No. Hell, the pros out on the roads, UMP guys, they're putting restrictors in every night when the track slicks off.
Oh, yeah.
So until you can start finishing races, maybe limit the power a little bit. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you some answers, but what we don't want to see is what we seen last week.
I mean, the track is very consistent on the condition.
Generally,
we got about the same surface every week. So if you're blowing the tires off every single week.
And make fun of me. I never said I was John Allen or Tyler Davis or any of those guys as a racer, but I damn sure looked past my radiator cap. I just, you got to look ahead. Mm-hmm. And if you see a car hit a tire in front of you, you don't gas up and try to pass them.
Right.
Those are just some of the things that we see that, hey, maybe we can prevent. Mm-hmm. We don't want to cut laps. John hates cutting. Listen, I've never seen a guy that doesn't want to cut laps more than John. You know why? Because he's a racer, and he says these guys paid to to get in this race, and he is 100% right. On the other side of that, we've got the fans, and we got to take care of both of that, and that's where we come to a happy medium a lot of times and say, listen, we're going to have to cut it. We're going to take 5 laps off or something because we can't seem to get it done. So just, again, that's not a direct warning to any particular driver necessarily, but that's to everybody in all classes. Just pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention. We're here to put on a show as well.
Not going to win it in turn 1 on the first lap.
Especially when you can't pass till you pass the cone. And that's why we do that, is so that you can get rolling and get down the straightaway before you actually start racing.
I wanted to remind people about what causes a caution at 81 Speedway. If you're spin out and you go down below the tires on the infield, we're not throwing a caution. If you want one, get back on the racetrack and stop. We're not going to be real happy, but you're going to get a yellow. Okay. Of course, if you're a safety situation, you're spun out on the racetrack and can't get it started before they come back around, I want to say thank you to every guy that gets their car started and gets going again. Because normally there's going to be another yellow and you're going to get cut up to the field anyway. So a real yellow, not just you happen to spin out. Everyone does it.
Right.
Best racer in the world spin out every week. It's no big deal. So want to thank those guys. But what causes a yellow? If you need a yellow, then you can't sit down on the infield or try to pull off turn 2 or pull off turn 4.
Right.
We're assuming you're broke.
Yeah.
We have no way to know what's going on with you.
Right.
Number 2, listen. Every week, Troy Keeler gets up there. We try to get cars in line. We find out after the race, his race heater wasn't on, battery was dead. All those things are so preventable. Here's what I did, and again, I'm no racer like John Allen or any of those guys, but it's a $1 battery every week.
Troy Keeler is our race director.
Yeah,
at
sorry.
Speedway, for anyone that didn't know. Sorry.
Put a battery, and this goes for Humboldt, put a battery in your race heater every week. It's $1, and it could prevent you from wrecking your car.
Yeah.
It's worth it. That's what I'd say. And number 2, I'm going to talk about transponders real quick. If you don't come out in hot lap, okay? If you don't come out in hot laps,
We don't know if your transponders work.
yes, we don't know if your transponder is going to work. And then if you come out in your heat race and you didn't come out in hot laps, I've got you written down, and we're not going to score you because you didn't test it. Your time to test your transponder is when we do hot laps.
Now, you don't have to take all the hot laps. Roll out there, roll across the timing loop.
That's it.
Once or twice, pull in,
Warm
be
your
done.
engine up. I mean, that's basically what hot laps are for, is to get your fluids up to temp, stuff like that. I mean, generally, the track isn't that racy. So, so that it'll be better at the end of the night. And everybody that's raced out here knows that if it's really good in hot laps, we're in trouble at the end of the night. So it's not a deal where you're going to go out there and set a new track record, but it does let you get your engine temps up and make sure that you got fuel pressure and that your transponder works.
Yep, absolutely. And then I had another note there. Bumps don't cause yellows. If a guy bumps into you, there's not much I can do about it unless we think it's deliberate. But if a guy rubs a door here and there or a tire here and there, we don't throw yellows for that, and I don't think any racetrack does. But I just wanted to point that out, that is part of racing, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever side of it you're on.
Like I said, someone runs down there and cleans you out.
We're going to throw you.
Yeah.
Real quick, talk about the points update. They are corrected now. I've been working with MRP. There was a slight glitch this week. They didn't. Somebody got DQ'd and it didn't take that race off, which was one of their lowest. That's been fixed. If you miss a race, that will automatically be one of your lowest. So that won't be a problem. That's why you have the 2 mulligans in every class.
And that deal's fluid. I mean, if the night you drop this week is your worst night right now, but you have a worse night later on, you get this one back, correct?
That's absolutely right. Your best are always going to be on the best. That's how it works. And what I would tell people to do, because if you just look at the points on the website or whatever, a little confusing.
No.
I understand. You're like, what the hell? I've raced 3 times. I got 100 points. Whatever. Well, go to MRP, click on 81 Speedway, click on points, and then click on your name. It'll show you all the races that you got credit for and the ones that are dropped. Now, just because you have a 91-point race dropped right now doesn't mean that's not a bad thing at all. That means your worst one's a 91. It's probably going to come to the top if you have a bad night. So check out the points through MRP. It's all updated. It's fixed. It's the same thing at Humboldt. I went and looked specifically and seen how it's all working. And it works just like it's designed to do. But I could see where it gets a little confusing up front. So if you have a question, call. I'll try to walk you through it.
Yeah.
Same thing with John. light shows, let us know if you like them. We try to pick a different class. Is it fun for you guys as drivers? Because we hope it is, and we're trying to highlight a different group every night over here at 81 Speedway, and I know John has some different things planned over at Humboldt Speedway. I think one of the coolest things that you guys do a lot is the American flag gets to come out with a car a lot. I wish we'd do that more here. I think that's a cool way to do things, and it's something I always look forward to at Humboldt Speedway.
Yeah, we don't have the fancy lights, so we do some stuff like that. And I've had some people ask us if we're going to do a kids' night at 81. We kind of do at the Spooktacular when we do the trunk or treat deal, but maybe we should look at down the road doing a similar thing.
We also have the kids club every Saturday night here at 81 that we don't unfortunately do not have at Humboldt.
And that's just a manpower thing. If somebody's interested in helping us with the kids club over at Humboldt Speedway, definitely get hold of John and talk to us, because it's really fun, and it's the next generation racer is what we're hoping. So
Dan Smith,
getting ready to talk about Dan Smith.
And good job this weekend, Dan, and thank you for everything that you did. He enjoyed the light show.
Okay, good. I actually literally on my next list, I had the Lonnie Smith Memorial Race. I just wanted to quickly thank the Smith family, Delbert and Dan. I spent a lot of time talking to Delbert before, John, you were over at the Monster Truck Show. I got to spend a fair amount of time with a guy that I always kind of considered a kind of a hero of mine growing up. I always watched him, and the Iceman always was a guy that I thought was untouchable. You couldn't talk to. He's such a hero, and hell, he's a normal guy. He's a great guy, and he's very adamant, John, that we do that race again here this next year. So
yeah, we've already been talking about some stuff to do different and better. Like the lap money, splitting some of that up to where second and third get some instead of the leader getting it all. Some different things.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be cool, and we're going to definitely work with those guys. And even though I know Delbert top fived, and Dan I think was hard charger, got all the way back up to 7th.
Yep.
I want to know what he did if he's on Facebook. I think he won a cool ass pit mat or something that had a logo on it and stuff. I think he won it. I think he won.
The hard charger got a tire.
Yeah, he got something else too.
Okay, we'll see what he says. He is watching.
Okay, so but I don't think he deserves it. I kind of do. To be honest.
Clint McFadden would have liked some fireworks.
Okay, that's a good point. Just when we normally do fireworks, it's about $300 to $500, and it's not like a lot of money, but it is a little bit. And you're right, we missed that.
We have a great sponsor at Humboldt that every night, ELO Fireworks.
Yeah, ELO Fireworks always helps us out over there. They helped us out with some of the stuff over here as well. Yeah. So we want to thank those guys. But you're right, Clint. We missed that, so I appreciate it. That was some advice that we should have taken. We'll do that next time for sure on a bigger show. And then the last thing I had is the Gressel tribute race, John. I'm gonna let you talk about it a little more because you've been working your tail off on that. I know we're talking about a mod race and of course being with the super late models of the World Outlaws.
Yeah, I've been working with the family, and the Gressel tribute race will be with the World Outlaw late models this year. I think it's going to be a really fantastic show. You got a lot of, Ed's drivers that are going to be here, and, Ryan Gustin's just famous for the Gressel car. I mean, that's what they made each other. And, Ryan will be here, and we are working on building a mod race along with that. But, as of right now, I mean, the Gressel tribute race is the World of Outlaw late models. But we've got a lot of neat stuff going on with them. Cindy's got a ton of retro T-shirts and stuff that I've got to go pick up, actually. Dirt night videos, stuff like that we're going to have around here for sale to commemorate what Ed did, because a lot of people don't know this, but Ed had his hand in a lot of that stuff behind the scenes trying to promote our sport. He was a great ambassador. You just had to get back past his demeanor. Ed was a great ambassador for the sport, though, but he was a grouchy old dude sometimes. But he did a lot of good stuff.
He did a lot of stuff that no one's going to talk about. He's not going to talk about it. Not going to brag on it. He's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I'll make it super quick. But I found out that he kind of liked me because he let me back in his trailer is what they told me. So the first time I met him, I went in his trailer and years ago, and I said, hey, it's about 6 years ago, I guess. And I said, hey, Ed, nice to meet you, JR. And he said, get the hell out of my trailer. And I was just like, "Oh, okay. I'm like trying to leave, and he goes, I'm just kidding. And he started talking to me. So went pretty good, though. But those are the things I wanted to cover. Was just I hope I hit enough points there. I didn't make anybody mad on purpose necessarily. But John and I want to listen to your suggestions, guys.
Yeah.
We're not closed-minded at all. We screw up all the time, and we talk about it on how to get better as a group.
We've learned a lot since we started doing this. We never have claimed to be perfect. And, we all have the same goals. We want to come to races, have a good experience, and go home and just enjoy everybody that's here.
You're going to see some. John was supposed to bring one, but he put them all in his truck. But Humboldt new apparel, 81 Speedway new apparel. So I thought I'd hold up the. You want to kind of grab the side of that so we can check that out. These will be available this Saturday here at 81 Speedway. That's the back of the shirt. Went with a stock car here. Really felt like the stock car guys deserved it, to be honest. They put on a hell of a show every single week.
Big stock car guy.
And I want to point out to all you stock car guys, that is not a 0-1. I would not do that. That's not Bo Davis's car. I know he's won a few races here this year, but that's not his car. I just felt like stock cars were number one.
Yeah.
So kind of with the retro look. This was my wife and daughter's idea. I really thought the retro look was cool. The front's pretty cool. So got a lot of shirts here, hoodies, all that stuff. A couple different colors of shirts here at 81 Speedway and Humboldt Speedway. I think it's the first new apparel this season, and we've got quite a bit of it here for everybody to come out and enjoy.
Yep. Shout out to Skyland. Got the merch booth all stocked up the other day.
Yeah, Skyland came out with her mother, and they worked all day. It worked a long time, to be honest, unboxing and moving and sorting and everything. There was a lot of stuff. So I think I had 14 huge boxes in the back of my truck and inside my truck. So, yeah, they've been doing a lot of work on that. So.
Let's see. So you had a couple questions, or you asked Dan a question. 7th place finisher got the laser etched pit mats. Must have not been him because he didn't say he had it right now. So I don't know who ran 7th. I'd have to go back and look.
I don't either.
Our great friend Jeff Milam, Race Rush 66, the official track photographer over at Humboldt Speedway, asked if there will be warm Coors Light on Ed Gressel Memorial Night.
There will not.
Oof.
And there's a good reason why.
It's nasty.
It is nasty, but the World of Outlaws is the American Beer Series.
Okay.
The late models.
Oh, okay.
So that's
new?
the brand.
Okay.
So we will be having some warm American beer.
Okay. Typically, Cindy has some beer.
We're going to be doing a salute. There'll be a salute for sure.
As always.
Yep. 7th place last week was Dan Smith. That's my exact point.
He did.
See, Dan?
What he said. He didn't say.
I'm on to you, dude. I want the laser etched pit mat.
Lucky 7th place finisher.
Yeah, lucky.
Here's what we got.
Here it is. Looks like John grabbed a hoodie from Humboldt, kid size. There's the back. If you can get that up on camera there.
Yep,
yeah,
right there. Perfect. Yep.
Perfect job.
Went with the A mods.
It's an A mod or a Midwest mod.
Yeah,
It says 2025. It's also the retro look.
Yep.
I actually like the front of the Humboldt shirt better and the back of the 81 Speedway shirt better. If I'm being
little big.
You're a big guy, Andy.
That's rude. Little big, too big of a logo. I'm kind of a small logo type of guy.
Well, it doesn't help your figure.
That's neat. Okay. Thanks for that.
Okay. Well, I'm out because I'm tired.
A couple things.
No, listen, they got my number.
A couple things. No, for me. A couple things.
Then I definitely am out.
25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Yep. 25th, been married to my wife for 25 years.
I was really hoping Katie's actually the boss.
There's no doubt about that. At the Speedway,
and I would love
literally
to have her on the show. She never wants to come on the show because we all, the burning question is how she has dealt with you for 25 years.
I'm a lot.
Yes.
To be honest, I probably don't say it enough, but yeah, she puts up with a lot.
She does.
I'm kind of out there a little bit and crazy and
Yep.
do crazy, stupid things a lot of times and say stupid things. And so, no, I can't thank her enough for all she does. John knows the same thing. We're both slightly scared of her a little bit, but had a wonderful anniversary. We got to go on a little vacation, and funny story, got out there on vacation during our anniversary, and the morning